In a world that has modernized, the trucking industry has remained the same. The same old print off a piece of paper, sign it, and pay the driver after 30 days or more. The current flow of trucking is a load is created at the shipper by reaching out to a broker. The broker then has to post onto a load board and go through hundreds of calls with different trucking companies. The trucking company has to find a load on a load board or through relationships they've built with past customers. Then the broker has to create a rate confirmation on a sheet of paper. The trucking company has to sign that rate confirmation, which is sent over via email, and then send it back to the broker. Driver then goes to pick up and drop off the load. Once that task is completed, which is the main part of trucking, the trucker will be going to pick up the product that they need moved, take it to the location, and drop it off. Now, instead of just getting a buzz on the phone and a contract being created, they have to instead go through all those steps we just went through to even get to the load. But the receiver, once they receive the product that needs to be moved, that the broker posted by the shipping company, they have to print off a physical piece of paper, which is called the bill of lading. This paper is proof that the trucking company delivered the load, and it's how they'll get paid. The trucking company and the receiver have to both sign the bill of lading and then send that to the broker showing that the load was completed. Just those steps right there are just so inefficient. The trucking company has to wait 30 to 60 days, sometimes even 90 days to get paid, depending on how good the broker is, if they're a good broker or a bad broker. But I have heard some nightmare stories of it being more than 90 days until they've gotten paid before. Now, to get paid the next day or even the next week, they'll have to use the broker's quick pay option, where they'll usually take anywhere between 5 to 7% of the load's payout. Sometimes I've seen even as high as 10%. Besides the quick pay option, the only other option that you have in trucking is factoring. Factoring companies are third-party companies that buy bill of lading and rate confirmations. 3% of the load's payout is usually the fee that they take from you, along with a contract signature that you won't use any other factoring company, to pay you out either next day or the next week. This whole system is outdated and it needs to be modernized, okay? Just the fact that there's physical paper involved in a world that is going more towards digital is telling me that there is a lack of innovation in this industry, which there is, and it needs to be addressed. I mean, simply put it. This is where cryptocurrency comes in. Before you go in the comments and you rant about how crypto is a scam and how it's all nonsense and Bitcoin can go from whatever number down to whatever number or up to whatever number. I'm not talking about the value of crypto, okay? There's a whole nother that's for gamblers to do. Okay, I'm talking about the actual use case of the technology that's behind cryptocurrency, which is the blockchain technology, specifically smart contracts. So open your mind for a few minutes and listen. Imagine you call a broker for a load. You and the broker agree on a rate. Once you agree on the rate, a smart contract is created. Let's say it's $1,000 USD load. It's going to pay $1,000 USD, but it'll pay it out in the crypto you use. Let's say it's Ethereum. The broker will start the contract and it'll have all the information, just like a rate confirmation would, of the load details, the payment amount, anything that would normally be on a rate con, such as what the driver's responsibilities are and what isn't their responsibility. As soon as the receiver checks that the load has been delivered, you are immediately paid into your crypto wallet on your phone. It hits your phone immediately. As soon as, let's say they have to scan a QR code on the pallet. And as soon as that receiver's phone scans that into the system, it checkmarks the contract as complete, and you immediately get paid with Ethereum of whatever the amount, whatever the value of Ethereum is. It'll still give you $1,000 USD at the point of delivery, not at the time that you sign the contract. Let's say Ethereum drops a little bit and that 1,000 now becomes 700. No. It's as soon as it's delivered. It can go into your wallet with Ethereum, and let's say you have something set up that automatically converts it to USD so you don't have to lose or gain anything on it, okay? That could be an option. They could do this by simply scanning the QR code instead of having to go through 2 to 3 unnecessary steps, drivers having to wait an hour. I've had to wait an hour before for them to just print out a bill of lading and me come in and sign it and them sign it so I can send it to the factoring company and the broker. I believe this will not only streamline supply chain problems, which obviously you can tell is a big issue right now with cargo ships and other issues such as truckers retiring and nobody wanting to go into the industry. After being in the industry for a while, I can tell you that I would not want to do this again unless there was something like this innovation. It's just so inefficient. The money's there. I'm not saying there's not money. It's just that trucking is so outdated. And you can say down in the comments, I'm sure a lot of people are going to have quit watching by now. And I'm sure they're down in the comments saying, don't fix it if it ain't broken. A bunch of old timers. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. Look what technology's done to other industries, this and that. Okay, the definition of insanity by Albert Einstein is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You're going to find tons of Facebook groups, tons of YouTube channels, tons of Reddit posts by truckers complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining about having to wait 2 to 3 hours at a receiver or a shipper, having to do all this extra stuff. I mean, it's everywhere. So much complaining. Yet they don't want to modernize the trucking industry. They want it to stay the same. They're like that old dog that can't be taught new tricks. I am roasting right at you guys right now, okay? You old truckers. It just blows my mind that you complain and complain and complain about stuff that could easily be fixed with technology, yet you're so scared of it that you're like, no, I'm good. Let's move on, so I don't get too ramped up in this video. The awesome thing about cryptocurrency and using it would be that everything is on a ledger, so nothing will go unnoticed, okay? There was just a news article out, and I'll see if I can find the video of it and maybe put a clip in this video here.
Address leading them to these three third-party drivers for Amazon. 2 of them illegal immigrants, while the woman owned the truck allegedly used to steal the packages.
They would go to Amazon distribution center to pick up their pallets. They would possibly grab an extra pallet or 2 and then take them to the residence in Luther.
Which didn't surprise neighbor Kayla Lindsay, saying trucks would honk before driving around the block, eventually coming back so people could load boxes into another one. Investigators believe the crime ring had been going on for months. The home filled with dozens of trash bags and unwrapped pallets.
So we believe probably they were selling them, as well as other items that they didn't want to keep.
Of a guy that was running Amazon Relay in a box truck, and he would get what he was supposed to get, then he would grab an extra pallet out of a different lane. And guess what he would do with that extra pallet? He would take that extra pallet, take it to his house, unload it, and then go complete his load. Okay, now he did get arrested, obviously. He was stupid that they wouldn't eventually find out. But nothing would go unnoticed with the ledger, because when you scan that in, and let's say there's QR codes on all pallets, on the top of them and on the sides of them, and as soon as it goes under that dock, say there's a camera there that scans the pallet in. That way you don't even have to use your phone. You can, let's say if it misses a scan, and let's say it says so many pallets scanned and it's missed something, and it'll give you a green light when you go underneath it or something. You know, it'll give you some kind of indicator that it scanned it or it missed it. Then you can use your phone. That would be on the ledger, and it would be transparent. It would say that, okay, it was paying this. That way when you deliver the load, I've had a broker tell me, for example, that if you have to use your lift gate when you get there, let me know and you'll be compensated for it. They always want to argue. Okay, instead you could say, okay, put that in the rate confirmation or on the contract, the smart contract, that if driver uses lift gate, extra $150. Okay, just put that in there. Now, once you complete the load, they can't go back and say, I don't think we said that. No, man, we agreed on 1,000. All you're getting is 1,000. They can't do that, because if they put that in the smart contract, it's there. And then if the driver gets there and they check mark a box Now there'll have to be some way that the receiver will have to, sign off on it or something, to make sure that there's no scams going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody will take advantage of a system if they can. But let's say the receiver signs on the phone there after you've check marked that box that you had to use your lift gate, and that'll automatically add $150 to the payout. And as soon as they scan the QR code that it's in their warehouse or wherever it's supposed to be, boom, you get paid $1,150. Okay? It's just so much better. Now, this could or could not be the way that this is implemented and used, but just my use case example that I have made for you guys here is 100, probably 1,000 times better than the current system that's out there. I'm tired of all the complaining. I even complained a little bit. I was just like, man, this is just so... You got to have a folder with you with all your paperwork in it, okay? And that's a whole nother topic for like DOT stuff, okay? That's a whole different thing than what it would do, modernizing the DOT stuff and all that good stuff, man. It's just, quick pass and all that stuff. Just imagine that times 10 or 100, okay? It would do a whole nother thing for the whole DOT thing. It would be insane. Just for the process of getting a load and getting the load and completing the load and getting paid and not having to wait, not having to take out a fee for getting paid next day or the week after, not having to do no quick pay options, none of that bullcrap. Just as soon as I scan the QR code, that money is sent from the broker's wallet to your wallet. Done. There's no fees. That's the beautiful thing of cryptocurrency, okay? And you can be a crypto hater all you want, but I don't think you can disagree with this use case, okay? Tell me it's not better. Tell me how in the comments. Instead of going down there and being like, don't fix it. We shouldn't fix it, Jay. We're old timers. We can't do that. You millennials. That's what I see when I see old timers complaining about changing the world, okay? My grandfather he is the biggest complainer in the world, and it's just nonstop. Everything is wrong, okay? Because stuff is changing. It's that same old saying, can't teach an old dog new tricks. You have to evolve. You have to adapt. Look how far we've come, okay? Look how far we've come since the 60s. Look how far we've come. Look how far we've came in the last 5 years. Now, yeah, it's kind of bad, but there's also a lot of good, okay? Let me know what you think in the comments. Keep it constructive. Tell me why it wouldn't be a good idea. Tell me why. Tell me why it wouldn't be a good idea. You'd also have the government's hand out of it, which is just it's like decentralization. Do you like paying big taxes? I don't know. But I might build a platform for this because I don't think people are thinking of innovations in the space. And I think with my knowledge of what I know and can do and what I can learn, more importantly, right now I'm hiring a team to make a video game, and that's a whole nother learning experience because so many kids and so many teenagers, and I even grew up on like Game Boy Advances and all that stuff. There's so much money to be made in that space, let alone what you could make if you made the platform to do all that I talked about in this video. Now that will take a lot of money, so I'm hoping I could take money, let's say from YouTube, and let's say I complete a video game and let's say it sells pretty decently. I could take that money and make something like this to help the trucking industry. It would be insane. Let's say that per every contract the broker creates, the broker has to pay monthly to use the software, not the driver. Today's age, the broker is keeping 25% of every load and the driver's getting railed by load board monthly stuff. So let's say there was a platform that drivers were always free, but the brokers had to pay monthly to put loads on there. I think that would solve a lot of brokers from being sketchy. There are a lot of brokers out there that won't pay you. I mean, just simply put it, they won't pay you. It's kind of insane. And you have to go through a ton of months and weeks of just calling them every day, getting no answers, finally getting somebody on the phone. They're like, what load was that? You know what I'm saying? So this would solve a ton of stuff. I've talked way too long. Please hit the like and subscribe. I hope you guys can open your mind up to a better trucking world. Okay. Now, we're not talking about electric trucks. We're not talking about removing old trucks. We're talking about a better system of how things are done and done right. Okay. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I do appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. My next video is going to be about how I found my truck, because I'm getting a ton of questions, specifically in the box truck world, because box trucks are apparently on fire. Like, people are, as soon as one pops up, it can just have an engine and tires and a frame, and people will jump on it like rabid dogs. So I'll tell you how I found my truck, what to do, how to find it, how to buy one, how to get a good one, how to make sure it's a good one, and I'll see you in that video. Peace out.